And by dive right in, I mean by I'm gonna stop the video just before this and post that, and now I'm gonna start this video off. How's everyone doing, you guys? I hope you're coming right off of the last one, because if you're not, that was a very awkward opening. All right, yeah, just roll the thing. Okay, how's everyone doing today, guys? My name's Tico. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so we're got some more Amphibia here. This is episode 45B, Anne-sterminator, and yeah, I think obviously this was, I mean, the synopsis of this episode, you know, being like the robot was gonna attack, and he's just like, you know, based off the trailer, that this was gonna be a big episode, because Anne finally has to confront her parents about the whole 100% story, you know, like, she gave, I want to say, like, you can argue between 75 to 50% of the full story, so now she has to really give the full 100%, so it's a situation where Anne, yeah, this is a crazy one. So I'll admit, God, this episode is really freaking nuts. So the whole thing starts with the robot, you know, the robot is fixing itself, and, you know, it's like, can't find and struggling, and so like Andrias checks in, and he's like, all right, did you get the girl, did you kill Anne, and did you get the book? Then I love the robot's like, I got the book, but it's like, no, that's volume 3, I need volume 2. So it's like, oh no, I like that. I don't know if that was a Gravity Falls joke or not, but it's like, wait, there's 3, wait, no, wait, what? But Andrias is not playing in this episode. You kind of feel bad for this robot a bit, because Andrias, like, he literally is like, well, since you're not giving me results, I am going to literally give you an hour to kill Anne, or else you're gonna just blow up. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Andrias is definitely not messing around. I mean, we know Andrias isn't messing around, but it's like every single time he does something sinister, it does catch you off guard, because, you know, half the time he's like legit like happy with what he's doing. It's weird. So when he does something like, you have 1 hour to kill Anne, or else you're gonna blow up, it's like, holy crap. So of course, like, the robot gets desperate, because, you know, it's like, he's gotta kill Anne within an hour. It's like, oh boy, that's not a good thing. So the robot, who recently repaired himself with like a bunch of different like parts from scattered across LA, like, he has like a new arm, which is kind of like a claw, you know, like one of those bulldozing claw arms. He has a saw for one of his legs, which he uses to like use as a one wheel mobility thing. He also has a nail gun over the shoulder, like a turret nail gun over the shoulder thing. It's like, this thing's not messing around. So obviously, with Anne being its target, it has to figure out how to find her, but luckily for him, it detects Frobo, so it tracks down the Boonchoy house, which of course is like the last place you want to go. So, and of course, this is all with Anne being the nice, responsible, honest person she is. You know, she's cleaning, doing the dishes, she's taking out the trash, she's doing the laundry, she's cleaning up all of her house, she's putting the coaster under Pop's drink. You know, she's so responsible and so honest, and it's like, oh, how the heck is all this gonna come crashing down? And yeah, that's the thing, like, her parents are so happy that she's grown so much, but of course Anne is super stressed out by keeping this half of the story a secret, and so she's like, you know what? I'm gonna tell him right now. Go up there and tell him. And of course, the second she's like, Mom, Dad, there's something I gotta tell you, robot shows up. So it's one of those episodes, and it's like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And it's like, this is crazy, because yeah, the robot attacks the house. They go up, you know, and I like, obviously Anne is very defensive, like trying to protect her family. She's like, get down, watch out, hide, all that stuff. They hide in their Mrs. Boonchoy's office, and it's like, it's a bit of a creepy office because there's just replicas of Anne everywhere. And apparently, it said on the calendar, it's like Anne away 89 days, I think that's what it said. And I'm like, 89 days? I'm like, okay, wait, how many? Okay, wait, I'm like, how many days in a month? 89 days? Wait, what? So it's like, because they said she's been gone for 5 months, but it's like 89 days away. It's like, wait, what? I don't know. I don't know what was, I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong. I don't know. Everything was happening so fast. But yeah, there's just, Mrs. Boonchoy's office has like replicas of Anne everywhere, so the robot bursts in and it's just like, it sees all the replicas, and it's because it's not 100% fixed, it's like reading like different replicas as like, and it's like, wait, which one is the one, and it starts attacking the wrong Anne, which is of course fortunate for Anne because she's not being attacked. But of course her parents are like, wait, that robot's after you? Why is the robot after you? So they, with the robot being distracted, they get in the car and drive off, and then we get into this really intense chase, obviously both in terms of like the robot chasing them, but also Anne having to confront her parents a bit about why this robot is chasing them, specifically her. And so Anne's like, the king of Amphibia might be out to get us because we tried to stop, because we kind of got on bad sides with him. And Hop-Up's like, she punched him in the face. And I'm like, you're not helping. That's the thing, is like, Hop-Up just continuously does not help in the situation when it involves Anne and her parents. And even like, Hop-Up's like, well, in the first time the robot attacked this, and it's like, wait, this isn't the first time. It's like, But yeah, really, it's like the parents are like freaking out, and it's like, what the heck is going on? And this is interesting because this is what I was thinking the new normal was gonna do with this situation. With like, I thought in that episode when Anne's like hiding the garbage cans and the recycling bins and waiting until I give the signal, I thought the garbage truck would show up, take them, and they would have to chase after the garbage truck. And I thought that would be like the intense chase sequence where you got to spew the information. But no, this is both better. This one is both better, and it's both understandable because like so much is happening in the moment. And it's like, oh God, don't want to die. So yeah, there's a really cool car chase with Anne and the family and the robot. It's like they get on the highway, the robot tries to shoot them with the nail gun, they tries to take out the car any way he can, and even tries to use some of her tennis skills. And just how like her father is just like, ooh, your backhand's looking rusty. And it's like, well, of course it's looking rusty, she's been gone for freaking 5 months. But yeah, so there's even like a little, I want to say it was an LA joke, they're just going down the highway and then cops see the robot with the car, and then the robots and the cops are just like, oh, look, they're filming the new movie for that one series. It was like, it's like nice, funny. That's definitely funny. So it's a really intense, really intense chase. Not insanely crazy though. I mean, probably the most insane, crazy moment was when they take one of the off ramps, and the robot is going down under one of the overpasses, but then it just but it's in the trailer, it jumps from underneath to where the Boonchoys are going, and then Mr. Boonchoy just puts pedal to the metal and runs it over, and it's like, ooh, really? That was probably the most intense scene in the whole chase. But eventually, the Boonchoys and the Planters, they eventually crash in they hide out in the junkyard, and obviously with the robot, with this time of the essence thing, it's like, it's not messing around. But then there was this one, I really love this, there's this one really cool shot, pretty sure it was a nod to Terminator, it's just in the mist as it's entering the junkyard, and you really just see the eyes, and it's like, it's walking in, it's just like creepy music, it's just like, oh, it was so cool, it was so tense. But of course, Anne's parents are mad, because it's just like, because they thought she was responsible, she was finally being honest, she was finally being able to grow up, only for all this to happen. And so they think like she's still the irresponsible kid that she was beforehand. And it's like, Anne, of course, is kind of trapped in that situation, because she's like, well, I was doing this, I was keeping this secret to protect you and the Planter. I was, but of course it's like, of course, I obviously Mrs. Boonchoy doesn't see it that way. She sees it more of just like Anne being irresponsible and just not trusting them. And it's just like, and she even says it, like, when are you going to grow up? When are you going to grow up? When are you going to take responsibility? When are you going to actually be honest? And Anne just like screams, I don't know. And it's like, that's the second time she's really, we've heard that before in season 2 at the first temple with Hop Up. It's like, when are you gonna, it's like, Hop Up's like, what do I gotta do to earn your trust again? And it's like, I don't know. And it's like, this time around, it's like, because yes, sometimes you don't know, in the moment, you don't know. It takes time to really think about it. It really takes time to just be like, okay, what do I need to do in order to blank? It's like, for Anne in this moment, it's like, she doesn't know when she really will fully grow up. She doesn't know when she will really fully take responsibility. She doesn't know. All she knows is she's definitely further ahead than she was before she went to Amphibia. It's just that she's not fully there. She's still growing, and that's the thing. That's the thing with the show. There's steps, but there are still more steps to go. It's like, and that's what Anne kind of learns in this episode, is like, she needs to be able to continue taking those steps even when it's a tough situation. Obviously, yeah, it makes sense why she didn't want to tell him, but at the same time, it's like, you're not trusting your own parents with the whole situation. It's like, maybe, yeah, it makes sense that you don't want to tell them right away, but at the same time, you don't want to hide it from them too long, because then they'll feel that betrayal of trust. It's like, yeah, it's rough. But, of course, their whole thing's interrupted with Anne and the family when the robot attacks, and it's like, what are they gonna do? But, Mrs. Boonchoy is able to keep the robot on its toes by creating just replicas of Anne everywhere in the junkyard. And so, with the robot being confused, I'll admit, this caught me off guard by how intense this ambush was. Obviously with the robot being distracted, the whole family just ambushes it. Like, Mr. Boonchoy and Sprig, Hop Up, Polly, they all got like pipes and stuff. But really the most gruesome part was with Anne and Mrs. Boonchoy, because Anne is grabbed by the robot. Mrs. Boonchoy just grabs like a mallet and just smacks the head, like smacks one of the arms off, and just like it just caves in its chest, and grabs like a broken sign. I think it was like a "Don't Walk" sign. And just stabs it, impales the robot with it, and they just like they're just beating this thing to bolts, and it's just like, holy crap. And there's even one of those shots where they focused on the shadow of them just beating this thing down. It's like, it's surprisingly gruesome, and it's so cool. But it's like, I was completely caught off guard by that. I'm like, I thought like it was gonna be Anne activates her blue powers and just destroys it in one fell swoop, but no, it's like they beat this thing to a pulp. And the robot, even obviously with its countdown, it's like, yeah, you coming down with me? But then that's when Anne like activates her blue powers, and because obviously both her families are in danger, and so she's like, gotta get rid of this thing. And she goes super Anne. Sorry, I really don't know what else to say. Goes Calamity, I guess, is another way to say it. She goes Calamity and just kicks the thing up into literally the atmosphere, like the upper atmosphere, and it blows up, and it's like, whoa, that was intense. And then obviously, because she used her Calamity power, she passes out, and right before she did that, she's like, Mom, Dad, I got so much to tell you. Passes out, and it's like, that was tough, that was rough, that was crazy. And luckily for Mrs. Boonchoy and Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy, and the planters, they help Anne into the car, and you've had that shot in the trailer, it's like they're driving, Anne's sleeping on Mrs. Boonchoy's shoulder, she smiles, and obviously the planters are just there, just like, we're sorry that she kept that from you, but trust us when we say this, she was doing it for the right reason. And Mrs. Boonchoy's like, yeah, I understand that. I understand. She was just protecting us and you guys. And she's like, but you know what? I'm glad she was fine. But you know what? I'm glad she was finally able to tell us. And then, okay, sorry for that cut because the glare from the window was about to hit the camera lens, and I'm like, not gonna let that happen. So, okay, where was we? Okay, yeah. So, Mrs. Boonchoy's, it's like, glad she finally was able to tell us this. Everything we do now, we do together as a family, of course. And she hugs the planters, but then Mr. Boonchoy, of course, being the one driving, he's like, oh man, the driver is always the one left out. It's like, man can't catch a break. It's just like, come on, give the guy a break. But it doesn't end there with the family. It doesn't end with the nice shot of LA. It doesn't end there. It ends with the FBI because, you gotta have the FBI here because they saw the robot obviously chasing the family through the streets of LA. It's like, yeah, that's not normal. So, this is an infamous thing though because they said we can't hold off on this any longer. We gotta bring in Mr. X. And I'm like, if this is the Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, we're in trouble. It's like, what could be worse than a Terminator robot? How Mr. X? That thing. Obviously not. Obviously, whoever Mr. X is probably just like some government agent leader group thing. I don't know. It's like basically the government's getting involved. That's kind of where we are at this point. And it's a nice way to transition into the second quarter of the whole season because the first quarter was like coming to Earth, getting settled, having to deal with the repercussions of True Colors a bit, having Anne to fully confess the truth to her parents, and now we're dealing really with the stuff that's going to be happening on Earth, and that being like, well, we have the government now to deal with. We still got to get home. We still got Andrias to deal with. It's like, we got to get back. That's the thing. We still got to get back. So there's a lot of things that are to come. It's just now we have the variable, the government being thrown in. It's like, what's going to happen next? Well, all we can do is watch. But yeah, so this was a great episode. And it's interesting because when it comes to those big episodes where it's like you gotta confront the bank situation, like season 2 with After the Rain was After the Rain was a good episode. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they did that. I just felt like that was one of those episodes that could have been really stretched out a little bit more because it's like there was a lot to talk about there, and it's like, well, they did a lot. There was a lot going on. It's like, put our differences aside, you gotta help the kids. I'm sorry I hid the box from you because of this. And it's like, this is why. And it's like, okay, cool, great. But it's like, that was something that he did, but there was like, Hop Pop buried the box for nearly an entire season. It's like, that's something you don't want to do. And then with Sasha's redemption arc, like turning point, it's like, again, that was something that was building for over a season. It's like and so for Sasha to I'm glad she was able to fully realize her mistake and like start to be the turning point, but I felt like maybe they could have built that up a little bit more. This one works for me because this was something that's only been building up for a few episodes. This was something that started in the new normal, and we're here at episode 45B, so it's like, this is something that's been building up for a bit, but not as long as the music box or Sasha's character. So it's like, this one worked because, not to mention, there was a lot going on because it's like, this was the climax of this Terminator robot, along with the fact that Anne finally had to confront her family. And it's like, that's why it worked. So, I mean, that's just me. And like I said, I really, I don't know. I'm nitpicking this show. I love this show, but I'm nitpicking it so much. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, all right. That's about everything for this one. So next week is going to be a fun one because now we got the government involved. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, leave a like. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. And if you want to subscribe, subscribe. You don't have to. I'm just saying. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next one.